Hello and welcome. Now, I know what you're thinking. Anuki, are you back? And the answer is, I don't care. You don't care either. What we care about is Men of War Assault Squad, particularly the second edition, and most likely Gates of Hell 2, a new game on the horizon that looks like it's going to be superior, potentially, to Men of War Assault Squad 2. But more on that story later. More importantly, right now we have to introduce our glorious players because they are the ones that make these casts possible. We are in 4K resolution, which means all the names are super squeaky tiny, but does look brilliant. CT Radar on the left here with a machine gunner already set in place. Over in the center, we have Nat with some grenades flying. The grenade blew up in his enemy's hands and detonated, killing a nearby soldier. That is unfortunate, but that's why we got to keep a good amount of space. We've got some red guards out here for Ramich, who is on the opposing side of this train station. This is a really good-looking map. I like this. It seems kind of like a tricky place to navigate around here. We have this glorious wall here, nice looking wall there, grenades flying either way. There's a very sweet spot down at the bottom of the stairs where you can chuck grenades up and they might not see it coming. And I think what these players need to kind of particularly, I think more important than getting the grenades up there, I mean it's definitely good to kill soldiers, but these spots here, you can stick infantry in them, you know, like there or there, and they will cover the assault zone. Now, hopefully that space isn't neglected, because obviously you can see both of these players are just lining up their soldiers against the walls, and whilst it does look like a really good defensive position, it's also really easy for them to chuck grenades up. So we are losing a lot of soldiers both ways. Let's go over to the right. Okay, on the right for the Axis forces, we have, is that a Miko Yan? It is. Now, I see that their opponent has ventured over across the canyon and has already taken a little bit of a defensive line here. Now, you'd think this side of the map would be in control of the Axis, but Miko Yan has lost a little ground, seemingly, but getting some kills, that's what matters. Now he can push up, hopefully take this wall, and just make a defensive perimeter there, and you know, stop anyone from passing this ground. If we can do that, then we can have a better control of the situation. There's a good spot to hide soldiers in behind this train cart thing. Oh, hello. Okay, so introducing our enemies is Imperatus with a Crusader right out the door. That is going to hurt anyone behind these walls, and it does certainly turn the tide of battle. Is that a bit of smoke grenades I see? I think it is. But what are you going to push? You do not want to push infantry into a Crusader, that's for sure. And Imperatus is going to be reinforcing the line possibly for another assault past the assault zone, so not just taking the zone, but looks to be moving and advancing towards this area here. Back over in the middle, it seems like the line wars continue. Lots and lots of smoke. It is looking nasty down here, but Nadat already has control of the zone. And this is an awful lot of infantry from Ramich, or is it Romich? Sorry, to just kind of be lingering around up there. I mean, you need to attack, not defend. Defending up there just plays into your enemy's hands like in two ways. One, they're getting grenaded and slowly dwindle down, but two, you're also not capturing the point. A flamethrower is an exciting choice. Oh, I do like it. But they've got to get that infantry or that flamethrower all the way up here, I think, to really be able to take out this line of infantry. Grenades would do it as well, but so far, I don't really see Rummage being able to advance. They just seem to be taking considerable losses. Hopefully, they'll be able to turn that tide around soon. And you do have allies that you can work on as well. Now we have a Puma out here. No, in fact, it is not a Puma. Not the one. SD KFZ 234. And it looks like a good choice. Light armored vehicles has nothing to really contest against it. I don't see any rush of infantry with an AT rifle, which would be able to penetrate this, I feel. And the 234 is just going to go linger about the back. That's fine. Like, do your damage and get out of there before any danger. Because whilst we can see every single unit out there on the battlefield, your players do not. I would suspect there's an AT rifle. I would suspect there's something that can hurt me there. But sometimes players just don't. They don't like. I'm a big rocket launcher player. I love having rocket, just a bazooka. If you play against me, expect a bazooka. If you move your vehicle a little bit too far up, then it's not going to end well for you. Grenade a little short there. Seems like Imperatus is gaining some decent ground. Has pushed back his enemy and taking control of the line. So the line has slightly shifted. Yeah, getting rid of these houses, flattening the ground would probably work in Imperatus's favor whilst he's being aggressive, but later on against the Axis forces, although these are Panzer Grenadiers. Oh, wow, we are really getting the elite infantry out right now. Like, elite infantry will do much better at longer ranges. But later on, when we're bringing out the big tanks, that could be an issue because German armor, as we know, really excels at long-range combat. We got a machine gunner here, very close forward. Tosses grenade, how good's it going to be? I don't think very well. Imperatus has micro as one of their skill sets. Very well done. Now, I want to take a look on this side of the map very quickly. We have a super good advantage point here. I mean, an AT gun would just excel up there. In the middle, we've seen lots of it already. It is urban on both sides. Very, very difficult to move. But I kind of feel like it's hard to assault that place without some kind of special unit to work around. Maybe we'll see some mortars out there. I think that would very neatly fit into either player on either side. Just to chip away at infantry units behind the wall. We have, is this a Chi Nu tank? Crossing from left side to right. I think they wanted to have a go at this Crusader tank. Now, that's great. Now, Nat is in the middle, but he's going to shift his tank over to the right to try and help his teammate out so that they don't lose this point. And maybe with the taking out of that Crusader tank, we can advance and get that right-hand point. Always got to be working together with your allies. It's a 3v3, and I don't believe we've introduced the... I'm going to call them the top left player. It is... Todesser. Welcome aboard. Oh! Getting a kill there on the 2-3-4 on the point. Now, I do think this was a little bit too far up. I can see flamethrower action going on. There's just action all over the place as the players seemingly probing quite heavily this area at the moment. They've just kind of gone through here and, you know, finding these gaps here. And it seems like they are being met with fierce resistance. Machine gunner taking cover behind the wall. I'd kind of like to have seen that machine gunner try and set up back here. You know, even on this corner here. Like it's all about lines of fire. Machine gunners do much better at longer range because, I mean, yeah, whilst they are highly inaccurate, they still do decent damage, and more importantly, they will suppress enemy infantry. It's a mechanic that's not really utilized too much. T-70 arriving on the field, getting very, very close to the action. Perhaps dangerously close. All it takes is one small grenade from Mankind, and we will lose that T-70. And... ooh, AT rifle. I saw the shot. Oh no, in fact, it's our Chi Nu back here. Very tight angle there. Nicely done. So moving that tank around to wherever it is needed the most. T-70 didn't have much of an impact. Now, whilst it didn't have much of an impact, it did certainly lend to, in some ways, capturing this point, which, honestly, I think might be kind of the hardest point to contest for the ally side of the map, Todessa, because, I mean, analyze this. We've got lots of little bits of cover here, 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 and here. Even this house right here, you can be looking out at that house. Like, that would be a very sneaky position to put an infantry unit for defensive reasons. But on Todessa's side of the map, it's a lot different. Where is the heavy cover? They're going to have to like try and maybe even create their own sandbag line and, you know, hope for the best there. There are these warehouses on the right as well that they could put infantry in, but it is very, very limited vision, and also I don't think it'll be too hard to just like stick a flamethrower on that and burn a ton of infantry inside. Nonetheless though, Todessa has been able to advance and capture this point. Let's go check over the middle again. It is still pretty much the same situation, just a wall of infantry that Nadnan has placed behind here. And unfortunately, Romic hasn't been able to find an answer for it. Again, I think a mortar would really do them well. Now, this isn't to put anyone down, but you kind of have to think about it in terms of what ability are you at. And units of different types will have different skill requirements, and you kind of want to be the most effective for your team. So, getting something like a mortar would do a lot of damage without very much input. And I think that's what Romic could get a lot of value out of, especially with so much infantry just sat behind this wall, not really doing anything. And Nadnan just keeps going up there, throwing some grenades, getting a load of kills. I wouldn't be surprised if they had the most infantry kills in this game. Imperatus, again, has advanced another level as they've gone from this wall. And now they're taking these walls. And it is, I think, pretty open ground back here. That infantry is going to have a tough time. We had a Lux come out here at some point. It did get decrewed, damaged, and is in need of repairs. But so is the Crusader tank. But looking a little bit behind it, say hello to the Comet, a very nice looking tank. I do like the look of it. So far ahead, and we have a Panzer IIIN back here, which I do believe it might be able to do some damage to the Comet. However, I'm not sure how destructive its potential will be, let alone accuracy. Now they're having a little tanky battle, both of them just trading a few shots, but I think the Panzer III, Mikoyan's just going to say, you know, I don't want to risk it. I just got this tank. You know, I can at least take out the Crusader with it. The Crusader seems to be back in operation, and that's what they're going to go for. Chi Nu may be lending their assistance. Taking a shot at the Comet tank. Comet has to pick a target. They can't... It's not a two-turret machine, I'm afraid. You've got to pick one. But we are kind of... I mean, this is the interesting part of this, I think, is we have two players focused on essentially this one thing now, this one situation over here. And again, if Romic had some stuff, this would be the time to advance. Go for it. Whilst the attention is deviated, hang on a minute, it's a radio operator, Romic. This will be extremely effective, at least at dislodging infantry. There's a few that just haven't got the call to retreat. Beautiful backflip. But we need to get those flares really up there. On the left, the point has become neutral again. We've got some warehouse fighting. CT Raiders kind of taking control of that area. Todessa has been pushed back. Looking a little bit light. We have a grouping of regular infantrymen back there. T-70, a few guys hiding back there. Not doing so well. Red Guards, go on fire back, buddy. Just being taken out by a veteran tank crew right now. Ho, ho, ho. Promotion well deserved. Right, we have... What is this? This is an AA gun. Okay. I don't think this is going to survive. Well, that's brown bread. Yeah, bringing stuff up like that, like emplacements in this game, they take a lot of work. to make work. You have to find a very niche spot for them. You have to find a moment in time where an emplacement like that would really be valuable. Because one HE shell is all it really takes. We've lost the Chi-Nu, sadly. Looks like the Comet tank won that battle. But the Crusader tank is also down. It is a complete wreck. I won't be repairing that anytime soon. No. Oh, I love the details. Love the details on that track. The Lukes being a relic on the battlefield looks glorious. I think the Lukes is a very pretty tank. I like to see that. The Comet exposing its rear, that's not the way to do it. That's not how you retreat. But it's okay, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get some more radio op barrages. The radio operator is an infantry soldier with a big radio that tells things to drop from the sky wherever the red smoke has been littered. But it's a big delay, so there's plenty of time to get your soldiers out of the way. And I think NatNat has the ability, the microcontrol, to be able to do that. We have a mortar out on the field. There it is, very camouflaged. Very camouflaged. Big mortar too as well, so. Now, I was saying Romich would probably benefit quite well from a mortar. And I think the inverse is actually true as well. I don't think NatNat really benefits from the mortar. I mean, it's still an asset. It's still a good tool for that arsenal. But they were doing fine with grenades. They would, like, if they could just kind of focus on, you know, like I was saying earlier, get infantry into these buildings looking outwards so that they can hold control of the point. You know, just some SMG, not a lot, because they still will die, but it will be a constant annoying thing for Romich to have to deal with. Now the mortar, how much damage is the mortar going to do? Is it going to take out this whole squad? It is not. Oh! Well, it still didn't, but it did some damage. Okay, so the mortar right now will be effective as a ton of infantry arrive on the field. But again, ooh, hello! Romich with the flamethrower just burned a ton of guys, and I like it. Getting the brownie points now. The infantry being sniped. We do have a sniper around here. There they are, the veteran sniper. If you can see them on the screen with my little highlighty tool. Good position as well. I'm going to just constantly chip away at those soldiers back behind the wall. I wonder if they can actually take position in this building up here. Because those windows look like an excellent position, but I'm not sure if the range is a little bit out of reach. Looks like the right-hand side is calming down. The left-hand side is also calm. So just action in the middle for now. Back here, we have an 80 half-track, rather, coming out with a few soldiers. Who are they? They are some... Ooh, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Someone tell me in the comments. New faction, though. Now, I mentioned that Assault Squad 2 has a load of new things, and a new faction is one of them. I think they're kind of like the Ostrupen... No, they're kind of like an elite force, aren't they? Big tank coming out. Comet, is this the same Comet as before? I believe it is. It's just arrived on this side to try and launch an offensive, take out the 234. Very well done. The half-track cannot compete against that. Pushing against this point, maybe they can grab it. Instead of focusing their effort on this point instead. I like it. Good teamwork from the Allies so far as they get a few soldiers into the zone to begin the capping process. T-60 out as well, should shred a few guys behind these walls if they can get it. But what's gonna be the counter? There's an officer up here. Now the officer is a unit that I don't often see from players. They have binoculars, so essentially what they do is they kind of spot. We might be able to see it if I turn on the Fog of War. No, we don't, but they reveal like a circle location of wherever they're aiming. Infantry pushing through the gaps between the flanks. It's a lot of infantry. And it only takes one mortar shell. I feel sad that I'm wrong about the mortar now. The mortar's actually really, really paying off. But like I said, it's a good tool, but I think we didn't need it. I think NetNet honestly could have gone without, and they still haven't been able to capture that middle point yet as well. I think that's a point that I've neglected. Even though they have this mortar, they haven't got that point. Interesting position from the Comet tank. Kind of wish that we had some armor or AT gun just kind of locking down some of these kind of avenues of approach for vehicles, or where they might kind of situate themselves. Again, I've not seen any bazookas yet. There's one. I feel like every time I mention something is not being done or isn't very good, the opposite happens. And I'm okay to be wrong because it's action. Now, while some of the action goes on, it'll take a little bit of time to talk about what's really gone on in... I don't know, leading up to the point where I'm doing some Men of War Assault Squad casts, because I want to do some more of these. I want to do some more Assault Squad 2 casts. And leading up to Gates of Hell, which does look interesting, we could potentially do a lot of casts on that. I feel like I'm retired now. Like I've done pretty well for myself at the moment, and I'm kind of wanting to get back into doing some things that I really love. But I couldn't do Assault Squad 2 casts in the past. Because I was very, very busy. I now have a little team, and the team is working with me on creating these casts. So essentially all I do now is I cast them and I hand them over to my small little editing team, and they will go ahead and finish it all up for me with a little bit of guidance. So I do hope you enjoy. If you want to see more of these things, do not hit that stupid little bell. That's a silly thing, YouTube. That's awful. Instead, just set a reminder on your phone every 10 minutes to check if there's been a new upload. That's the most efficient way I can think of so far. If that does change in the future, I will let you know. Don't worry. Alternatively, you can go over to the Patreon. All proceeds go to the editing team behind this, because I am loving this. We have an Oswind and a Veteran Tiger. Now, do we need a Veteran Tiger? No. Do we need an Oswind? No. But they don't have the points, so let's make use of them. And that's the question. That is the big question. How can we use these tools? I don't think they're necessarily the right tools for the job, but that doesn't matter. So I think we kind of... See, here's my problem with the Veteran Tiger. Is you really want it like long range it. You know, that is an anti-tank tank. Something, you know, like the 234, you know, 222s, like even half tracks and stuff like that. Those would be great to kind of try and get rid of the infantry, and if you lose them, you lose them, that's fine. But you can't exactly bring a Veteran Tiger, you know, here, because there's just too much danger. There could be AT soldiers here, there could be AT soldiers here, there could be something in the fog of war on the other side of the map which could like potentially track it and really put that Veteran Tiger in a lot of danger. So it's not always the case of bigger is better, because bigger is also riskier. And in direct contrast, this is kind of what I mean. Todessa as well, from the other side of the map, is coming over to help Imperatus just take out some of this infantry here. There's a bazooka! Oh, I'm glad I got that. That was very, very lovely. But that's what we're going to be looking... That's what the infantry is for. The infantry needs to spot that stuff. You've got to move it up with the infantry. Now the Panzer III, which has done very, very well to survive, good job Mikoyan, can be a little bit more daring. The Comet tank at the back, I think, yeah, it's not looking in good condition. The crew is dead inside, and it is in need of repairs. Now, I didn't think Mikoyan was in a very strong position right now, but they have endured. Imperatus threw a lot at them. We can see a little bazooka Panzerschrecki on the floor there. Be nice to pick up, make use of that hardware. And, you know, I'm wondering if Imperatus is kind of hurting now. They really did seem like the superior player in the whole of this. They were so aggressive out the door. They made numerous milestone advantages. But it seems like that might have come for naught now. Sandbags being placed in the middle. Got to get your soldiers behind it. A little bit of pinging over here. I think the Red Guard has taken the flare gun. So the radio operator died at some point. But we're just going to take use of their gear, and I'm not even sure what we're really hitting there, but, you know, make use of it whilst you've got it. Infantry dying down in the train track valley. T-34, 57? Ostwind? Vet Tiger? Yeah, that Vet Tiger's probably going, surely, like, oh, there's a T-34 over here. Can the Vet Tiger come over here and try and deal with that? At the moment, it seems like there's kind of just... You know, I wish I could hear the communications and what the players were really trying to think. Oh, look at the damage that machine gun is pumping out as those soldiers run down the stairs. And that's because they're partisans. They are the lowest form of infantry. Very weak on the health list, but one of them does get up. It's an assault rifleman with a grenade. Oh, but it's got to get back behind the sandbags, so the machine gunner just gets back there. Starts shooting out a little lead. Another soldier. Do they have a grenade? Are we lacking grenades? Net. Being a bit pressured. Another AA gunner, 20mm. Now, this is not going to go well. No. Oh, 10 out of 10, but the landing sucked. Now, I feel sorry for that AA gun. Again, I think emplacements are very tricky to use, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. I don't think any emplacements... you know, if you're going to do something like that, just bring a heavy machine gun, something cheap, something you can lose, something that can be recrewed pretty easily. These big emplacements are not very valuable. And again, like, positioning is important. And I'm still kind of struck, like, this area up here. Like, if I turn around... Look how good that looks. That looks nice. That is a good view of the battlefield. But will they take it? I don't know. Certainly you can't place any kind of anti-infantry up there. It would just be anti-tank. But the less you have to invest in taking out tanks, the more that you can put into infantry. We have a sniper back there, if you saw it, pinging away. Took out this guy over here. Sniper's a very high-value unit. Kind of difficult to keep track of, find out where they are, and counter. King Tiger, Veteran Tiger and Ostwind side by side. Where's that infantry to kind of move up and reinforce these lines, though? Yeah, sandbags coming out, machine gunners, good stuff. How's the King? I keep calling it the King Tiger, the Veteran Tiger. Yes, it did manage to get the T-34. They were trying to protect it with smoke grenades, I think, to get rid of the vision. Now the Veteran Tiger probably wants to go find another Tiger to take. Now, this is how you use a Vet Tiger here. Like, if you've got superior armor, you only need one, and you just got to go around, find all the big targets, hunt them down. You have two concerns. Firstly, is a time and energy concern, and also pathfinding, so 3. The time you invest into managing where that Veteran Tiger goes, or, you know, any big tank. Because every time you got to go to the other side of the map, it's going to take time to go over there, but you also have to click, which means you're not focusing on pushing with infantry or locking down areas. Secondly, is the fuel consumption, because bigger tanks consume more fuel. And if you keep going left and right and left and right, even on a map that is as narrow as this one and has as clean a roads as this one, it is very easy to get to the other side of the map, then you're going to eat up a lot of fuel and you're going to have to refuel, which again is costing time and your resource for managing that. So much infantry has been killed today. I'm still seeing that there's a mortar around. There it is. I think it is the same mortar. It has just relocated. Now, I think one of the best places for a mortar in a 3v3, you kind of want to cover like 2 zones. So it'd be really ideal if we could cover this one and we could cover the middle one. And the only reasonable way to do that is to kind of place your mortar in between the 2 points at the back. But I can see on this map it would kind of be tricky. You know, you could potentially set up the mortar there. It is relatively safe if you have your infantry defenses in place, but at the same time, maybe a little bit too far up, exposed to enemy mortars or artillery fire. Again, like I'm not really a mortar player. Like I'll always try and not get a mortar if there are ways around it. Infantry is just trying to find any kind of cover that they can get a hold of now. I'm surprised to see, though, that this area up here hasn't been utilized. Like, do they not, like, seem... those are a good couple of windows, right? I like using buildings. Buildings are great. Nat looking very weak in the middle. The Allies, I think, kind of looking strong at the moment, with the exception of the Veteran Tiger. I guess that could change the way that the war goes. Allies at, I see, 88 points to the Axis 41. Now, these are mixed groups as well. As you saw, we've got the Japanese forces alongside the German. Which is a new feature as well in Assault Squad 2. You can mix and match factions. I like the faction wars the better. It's easier to keep track of. But it opens up a whole new window of possibilities. Ooh, Crusader tank coming out the door here. Different variety. Medium tank versus medium tank. Oh my god, a radio operator coming out of the blue to drop the red smoke of death. The anticipation kills me. Explosions look glorious. And you know what? In Gates of Hell, they look even more glorious. Big, rushing, half-track vehicle. This couldn't have been better timed. Like, exactly when the Crusader tank went down. This thing has got 3 machine guns. Everyone's vetting up at the same time as they're like, bro, just kill that dude. Yeah, crush the dead ones. And make sure that they don't come back alive. It just spins that around. Or do I mean ho ha 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 ha? That was a very nice push, Mikoyan. I'm sure even Imperatus was impressed by that. Flamethrowers out again. We've seen a lot of flamethrowers today, but this guy fails, burns himself. Oh, he's a cookie crisp. Luke's here as well. So this is the Luke's, I believe, that was repaired. Nice to see it coming back this late on in the game. And I think the Germans, or rather the Axis forces, are kind of in a strong position right now. They kind of have what I would call the tech advantage. Where are the counters? Have we starved the Allies' forces of any countermeasures? Where's the anti-armor? Because now they've got a Luke's to deal with, they've got this very curious Oswin to deal with, and the Vet Tiger. That is a kit and caboodle of stuff to deal with. No one thing is really going to prevent that. We shall see. Are the Allies going to be able to bring out something heavier? Have they been saving some resources? In the meantime, though, a few things about Gates of Hell. Once we have this little bit of a lull. If you haven't tried Gates of Hell, or if you're wondering, what the hell are you on about, Anuki? What is this Gates of Hell? So, as we know, Digital Mindsoft came out with a new game called Call to Arms. You may have enjoyed it, you may have not. In any case, from what I've learned, a mod team has become kind of almost... They're not full-time yet, but they have been dedicating themselves. Oh, hang on a minute, a big infantry push here. There's that AT gun. Oh, we needed that AT gun. Oh, it is very not usable now. It is, as some might describe, gone. Mikoyan with the infantry push, spearheaded right down the middle, and I think may have just destroyed any freaking chance of the Allies winning with that single move. I don't even think that AT gun really would have solved the Vet Tiger issue, but like that was the chance. That's what they had. If they're bringing that in, then it tells me that they don't have anything else. Like, you don't scrimp out on trying to deal with a Vet Tiger. Back to Gates of Hell. So if you own Call to Arms, you can download the beta of Gates of Hell. It seems like a mod team that were very interested in Men of War Assault Squad. They've taken the system and they've made like numerous improvements. And now the gameplay style has changed, but I'll get to that in a moment. But you know, explosions look better, sounds look better. There's more vehicles, there's more variety. There's foxholes that you can build now as well, which is kind of interesting. A little bit spammy at the moment. The Conquest mode, which is like a dynamic campaign, is brilliant. I think that's the thing to go check out, is the dynamic Conquest thing, where you sort of build up your army and it persists in a way. And I think they're looking to make improvements on that. A few other improvements. Animations. That's, I think, one of my favorite. I'm loving this, Lukes. It is on an adventure. I think this game is about to close out. So let's end it here, and we can talk about Gates of Hell more another time, perhaps in Discord. Congratulations, CT Raider, Nat, and Miko Yan. You have claimed a victory for the Access. Big thank you to Vivian and Lexi, who produce and edit the show. The show is not possible without them. If you'd like to support them, do so on the Patreon, where you'll be able to get your name as one of these soldiers on screen now. And I think that's pretty cool. I'm not sure what's planned with this, but I bet if you head over to the Patreon, you'll see what's what. It'll be a surprise for me too. In other news, come on to the Discord and share your replays if you've got them. I'd love to see you play, and we can talk about Gates of Hell, and we can talk about modding too. Expect the next cast soon. I'm signing off.